Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're back at the trouble code on the Z, the P0021 DTC. That's an aggressive popper. So I got the PDF for the factory service manual on my phone. I'm looking at it. Shout out to Nicoclub for that. It is, they have, the dealership has these fancy Diag tools, laptops that they can plug into the OBD2 port and test the different systems and how they work and whether or not they're in specifications, stuff like that. I don't have that fancy stuff, but it does say for the P0021 IVT control, they go through the testing and how to do it, what RPM, and you check the degree, because I've actually seen this before on Subarus. We've done this. You can with the software, you can actually monitor the cam degree of the intake cam, how much it's advanced. I can't do that because I don't have one of those fancy tools. But the factory service manual is saying that this code should be either crankshaft position sensor, camshaft position sensor, or the camshaft itself could have some kind of debris or chip or something in the signal plate. So the signal plate is basically a trigger wheel for the cam position sensor. So if it's got something clogging it or blocking it, or it's damaged or anything like that, then the cam position sensor is not going to pick up a good signal. So I think that's in the back of the motor, though. I didn't look at the diagram, but I'm pretty sure it's in the back of the motor. The front of the motor is the front of the camshaft is the actuator that rotates back and forth on the chain, and I think the sensor's in the back. So I might have to do some stuff. And the crankshaft position sensor on these cars is on the freaking back of the block by the flywheel. The trigger wheel on these are actually on the flywheel. So if you don't mount the flywheel correctly, it won't run right. You can actually have the flywheel clocked wrong when you put it on. The previous owner said that someone did a clutch on this thing, and I don't like the way it feels anyway. I'm not really a big fan of this clutch. I'd like to know what's in there, though. But they could have potentially put it on wrong. Now, I thought that there's only so many ways you can put on the flywheel, since there's 8 bolts or something. You can't have it off 1 degree. You can only have it off whatever 360 divided by 8 is. 45 degrees. So if it's off that far, I don't know if that's the case or not. There might be some kind of dowel pin that only allows it to be off 180 degrees. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But if it's off a large amount, it's not going to run, or it's not going to run right at all. It's going to be really bad, and it'll probably show more than one code. I'm only getting for that one bank. I'm not getting a whole bunch of crazy codes. So I don't think that's it. I think there might be just something wrong with the sensor or the camshaft, the signal that it's sending. A crankshaft sensor could be bad. I mean, I would think that it would throw more codes than that, but I get under the car, I can go and look at it, maybe pull it out, maybe test it. There is a testing procedure I didn't look at yet, so I will do that. Alright, I got a little update here. I was looking back here for these camshaft position sensors. I found them. They are on the back of the valve cover. There's one there, and then bank 2 is under there. It's kind of hard to see. The connectors to both of these are both messed up. I noticed this one it's got electrical tape on it, so I was like, oh, that's probably not good. Yeah, the connector's broken. And I was like, okay, well that could be a problem. So I unplugged it and turned the car on, and it added to my code. So it was saying camshaft position sensor bank 1. So the one that I unplugged, just as I thought, is definitely bank 1. Either I replace the connector, I gotta find the right one, which is not a huge deal. You just de-pin it and put the new connector housing on, or maybe try and zip tie it on or something. But since I don't have a camshaft position code, the camshaft sensors are plugged in and working fine. So it's either crankshaft position, which, it could be. I doubt it. Or like what the service manual says, something's wrong with that trigger wheel on that camshaft. That's going to be a nightmare. well, I mean, it's a lot of work to get. You have to get the valve covers off, basically. So the intake's got to come off, valve covers got to come off. A lot of stuff's in the way. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world because this thing leaks oil anyway from the valve covers, so that'd be a good opportunity to replace the valve cover gaskets. But then that's not a guarantee. It's just an inspection. Like, what if I don't see anything? You know, then I go from there. I think the next thing what I'm going to do is maybe I'll unhook the bank 2 camshaft position sensor and just look at it. Maybe ohm it out, see if I can see if there's something wrong with it internally. I doubt that's it though, because I think if I pull the connector off, I guarantee you I'll get a bank 2 camshaft position sensor code. Maybe what I'll do is I'll jack up the car and I'll just have a look-see at the crank position sensor. It would really suck if the flywheel's on wrong. Anybody had any issues with flywheels being on wrong and how it ran and what codes they got? Let me know. That'd be great. Thanks. Alright, got the crankshaft position sensor out of this thing. And it is completely saturated with oil. The connector, housing, the electrical, the pins in there, completely covered in oil. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I'll clean that out real good. I'm going to look at the FSM and see if I can find a way to test this thing and follow this thing down the rabbit hole. Maybe this crank position sensor is bad. Maybe it's just got so much oil in it it's not working right. Maybe the flywheel's on wrong. Who knows yet? We got to find out. Back to the internet. So the manual says check resistance between these pins 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and 2 and 3, and the resistance value should be, it says except 0 or infinity. So I'm assuming as long as you're getting some kind of resistance between these pins, then it should be good. There's a little picture kind of describing. And it also says visually check. This is a little guy right here. Make sure you look right here. Yep, right there is where you look. Why is he half black, half white? Yeah, mine looks good. I don't see any chips. And I just checked I checked them all with my little meter here. And I'm getting resistance all the way around, so I don't know. I think this sensor is probably good. So that kind of, I mean, I could pull the camshaft sensor out. It's going to be a little difficult to get to on that bank, but that's the next step, I guess. You know, and maybe I can get a mirror back in there and see if I can see anything wrong with it. Maybe that those pickup teeth, the trigger wheel on the camshaft itself, maybe it's bent. Maybe it's just, you know, bent or something. I don't know. We'll see. This camshaft sensor wasn't too bad. I had to reach around the intake with my left hand. Got the 10mm bolt, popped it out. It wasn't too terrible. Everything looks good here. Resistance on the pins that it's supposed to have resistance. So I'll see if I can get my little mirror in there. I don't even remember where my mirror is. Oh, there it is. Flashlight mirror. Alright, just got done with checking the trigger wheel on the camshaft itself. I could get a mirror back there with a flashlight. I could peer inside the hole that the camshaft sensor came out of. I would crank the engine by hand, go back, look, crank it again, go back, look, until I went all the way around. All the teeth and the missing teeth in there all looked clean and intact. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I don't think that's the issue. Right now it is about 1:30. I got to make my way to Merritt Island, which is like Titusville, Cocoa area, and meet up with this guy to fix this title. I got to go to the DMV over there. So hopefully I'll get it registered in this afternoon. I don't know if I'll be able to come back here today, but that's where it sits. Still diagging an issue. I'll get that fixed eventually. This car is gonna rip, I promise. I'll get that issue fixed. The car's registered. Goodbye, weird DMV tax collector that used to be a CVS or something. I'm going home. But I got it taken care of. Everything's good. Title's in my name. They're gonna mail it to me, and the car is registered and insured. Dang, lady, slow down. So that's all good. Now it's time to really start ripping into the Z. Alright, I'm gonna get gas and head back to Orlando. That's it for me today. Once again, thanks for watching.